the heck is going on out there?
So the subject number one, it's on everybody's mind, coronavirus. Okay, it's spreading, it's everywhere. People are panicking. Death rate maybe like 1 in 50. What do you think? Is it a big deal, or just a normal kind of thing that happens now and then?
It does seem like every once in a while there's something that comes up, some kind of scare. And I mean, I know, but amazingly to me, somehow this thing has political overtones. And whether, I'm not a scientist. I don't know, what this thing is, how you prevent it or whatever, but I'm going to live my life the way I live my life. I'm not going to walk around in some kind of plutonium suit with a mask on. If I have to do that, then just, forget about it. So I don't know how anything about the science of this virus or whatever. But what I do find amazing is in this time and the political climate that we're in, that somehow these political lunatics, and that's on both sides of the fence, somehow turn this into politics. Like somehow if you were a Democrat or you're a Republican and there was this kind of virus, that it wouldn't affect this person.
All right, that's a good answer. This is, by the way, coronavirus, one of those zoonotic diseases, carried by animals and jumped on humans, such as, HIV and other hantavirus and others. But, so...
I mean, it's like saying, like, if, one side says it's a hoax, it's the media doing this. I mean, how does it turn into political? I have no idea. It's like, nobody would say like colon cancer or something, it's, or breast cancer. That's one thing everybody agrees on. They wear the pink or whatever. Nobody wants their mom or their sister or their wife to get breast cancer. There's nothing political to that. I don't know how this virus somehow becomes political depending on what side there's some agenda being pushed politically by either side. I don't.
There's always agenda in politics, right? All right, the subject number 2, Harvey Weinstein. We all know about the guy who misused his power and abused a lot of women. What do you think about that kind of subject?
It's not the first time it's happened, and it's happened for a long time throughout all walks of life, not just Hollywood or whatever. It's just the only difference in Hollywood is he's invoking this crime on people you might have heard of.
Do you think it's kind of like a natural thing for a man in power to do?
It's a horrible thing. I mean, to me, I don't think much of guys that do that. And we had a whole thing last week about just kind of be yourself type thing. And, if you're one of these dudes that because you have a Lamborghini or whatever, you get chicks. I mean, I don't have, all my stuff is real. I mean, all that's real. But no, I mean, it's the same, it's unfortunate that women have had to deal with this, and probably, in men as well. And I can remember early in my time in the workforce, before they had things like sexual harassment and stuff, I remember guys just making all kinds of comments to women, and practically like licking the back of their head, and, oh, come here. And I remember, and even then it was more acceptable, but I remember thinking it was creepy then, and so I can imagine what it was like 20 years before that when, because women weren't always in the workforce. I mean, it was a time where women, stayed home or whatever. But from the time they started getting in the workforce, I can only imagine what women had to put up with in the 50s and things like that. Come over here, boss chasing around the desk and stuff. If you're a dude that's doing that, you're pathetic. And I mean, you really, you're almost like a subhuman, I mean.
Okay. Next one. How about this new Amazon store that has like no cashiers? You just walk in, scan your cell phone, and pick the food that the camera is watching you what you picked, and on the way out, it just automatically charges your credit card. So they're kind of like this is like the first store they opened. It's kind of like a curiosity. What do you think about it, like the future of these kind of stores?
You're just turning yourself over, man. More things you're turning yourself over to. You're letting them on the inside so they know your spending habits. You're going to be inundated with, well, this guy bought Cheerios. Every cereal they're going to say, here's Yummy Mummy. Here's this cereal. Here's that,
But isn't that good for you?
Yummy Mummy?
No, I mean that they know what you like, and they're gonna order it next time.
Man, I mean it's if I had to do it all over again, man, I never would have got as much as a cell phone, much less email. I mean, I get it's just your program, man. I mean, it's just he likes this. I can only imagine the offers you get. The amount of things you buy online, I can only imagine the stuff. I mean, for a while you were getting stuff sent to you didn't even know you ordered, remember?
Yeah, that's right. But fortunately, they didn't charge my credit card, so it was kind of weird. It happened a couple times on Amazon, and I got this. I didn't even get that stuff. It was just sent to my address. I don't know who picked it up. I mean, how did it disappear? What happened? It was kind of looked into it by Amazon. They gave me a refund, but. Yeah, so it's weird. Okay.
I am an Amazon Prime member, and it gets deducted out of my account every month, and I have no recollection of ever signing up for anything like that. I have no idea what I've ever ordered, but I'm,
you can
$bucks a month or something comes out of my account.
You can always cancel it. And you're a FedEx man, come on, what about that? Okay. Next one. Oh, what's your opinion on there's a global warming, rising seas. I notice it even here in Key West. That sea kind of comes up a little bit higher. So what's your opinion about rising seas, king tide, and actually living in a Key West and buying the house? How you think it's not gonna affect us in at least 100 years or so?
There's a lot of ways to dress up things. This is just, once again, let me disclaim this or whatever by I'm not a scientist, okay? But I do have my opinions on global warming and things like that. Whether or not global warming exists, probably.
Well, it's a fact, but how much it's going to affect us, nobody knows.
But the Earth is always in a process, okay? We just happen to be on the Earth now. Before us, there were things that were on the Earth. After us, there's going to be things on the Earth. Whatever happened before us that the Earth in its process did to eliminate most, if not all, of the creatures that were there before, it's going to happen again. I mean, it's been the process of the Earth. They were creatures before dinosaurs or different eras of dinosaurs or whatever that disappeared.
There's always extinction of some sort, always something dying off, and new things are being.
So what would make us any different?
So like you personally, it doesn't.
I could absolutely care less. I mean,
obviously, since you bought the property, you kind of think it's going to be fine.
Right? I mean, is it going to happen in the next 20 years? No, but over the maybe thousands of years, will human beings still be on the Earth? Maybe. I don't know, but we're not going to know about it anyway. I mean, do you remember when dinosaurs ruled the Earth?
No. It's I'm talking about more immediate, future. If like you said, in 20 years, whatever.
I mean, I don't think it would be that fast. I don't. I mean,
neither do I. Okay. Oh, I read a pretty cool article about they're experimenting and turning human bodies into compost. Okay, because they say whenever they bury a person or they cremate, it just creates a lot of problems. Whereas the composting, each body kind of gets turned into 2 cubic yards of soil like material, and even the bacteria kill dangerous microbes if the body has them, and you just turn into a soil.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's part of the process of the earth. I mean, eventually the worms are going to eat you one way or the other. But the whole, and I come from a family that worked in the cemetery business. My father owned cemetery. My father owned cemeteries, and some of my brother-in-laws made their living owning cemeteries, working at cemeteries or whatever. And the whole funeral death thing is kind of crazy to begin with. I mean, it's the strangest thing that somebody dies and they have like this thing where you look at this dead person sitting in it. To me, I mean, it obviously it's not strange because it's a human tradition, but it's a strange thing to me that, let's go and pay our last respects to this shell that's just dead sitting in this coffin injected with formaldehyde. It's weird, man. And then these eventually you're taking up space with, I mean, it's hard, you can't get buried in Key West, right? Unless you were born in Key West.
Now I remember that's the problem with the burying the bodies, because they embalm them. They put so many chemicals that, get in the ground. So that's why they're thinking about the composting instead of, just doing what they do.
So, I mean, when you die, if you could just disappear, that would be great. Just gone, I mean, you had that movie back in the day from a science novel, Logan's Run. Remember, you turned 30 years old, they just zapped you. But
there's a few remakes too.
It's just weird. I mean, cremation. I don't know, man. I mean, organ donors. So be an organ donor or cremated, and you realize you need that stuff wherever you're going, man. And it's like,
so you're against or for the composting the humans?
I mean, where are they doing the experiments on? What are they?
I don't know that.
That would be my concern. These people know what they're signing off for. Yeah. Here, we've deposited the check in your account. Let's go do the experiment. Whoa, what are you doing?
I wouldn't mind. I think it's the best way how to make yourself useful after you die.
I guess, and I mean, I'm sure you can probably be able to order it on Amazon before too long. A human compound, why buy a funeral lot or a cemetery lot? You can buy this human compost set. When you're going to die, you just go in this little incubator, and we'll do the rest. And you in this nice box. What color box would you like? What is there a particular design, like you're doing checks? Like you pick your checks at the bank, and we'll put you in a nice little box, and off you go. What the heck is going on out there?